Hello, guys. This is a 34 Sports Talk Minute. My name is Nug, and today I'm going to be talking about what I saw last night. This is kind of a live stream kind of thing. I mean, I can't live stream, but this is as close as I'll do. This is going to be unedited and just raw, just what comes off the top of my head while I'm thinking. I do have notes to kind of guide me, but other than that, it's pretty free flowing. Let's get into it. One of my first takeaways from last night, we'll start with the Nets and the Warriors game. Durant and Kyrie looked virtually unstoppable, basically torched the Warriors in the first quarter to the point where they couldn't even come back at that point when they didn't. I mean, garbage time helped the score a little bit, but other than that, it was pretty well run away. I think at one point I looked in the third quarter and it was a 30-point game. We haven't really seen that. I mean, even as much as a lot of people like the Lakers have never really beat down on somebody during the regular season. I mean, they were just heating up last year anyway. We haven't seen anything like that since Durant was on the Warriors. I really do think Durant, by the end of the season, will be top two, if not, well, top three, if not top two. I doubt he'll get to one because we won't get into that, but Durant's gonna show everybody why people should not be forgetting about him. Durant is top tier. You can't stop his jumper in transition. You can't stop his jumper in most situations, but the transition jumper is hard to guard, and just that Nets team has a lot of pieces that make it hard to really focus on one particular player. Levert, I think, had 15 plus, if not 20 last night. The Nets just looked on fire. You got like Joe Harris. I mean, it seemed like Durant and DeAndre Jordan had a connection, even though they haven't played that much together. But I mean, they've been on the same team for a good while now, and with the lockdown, um, I assume they were able to play together, and they've figured it out quite well. I expect the Nets to be a top three seed. That's no doubt in my mind, and they proved it to me last night. So we'll have to see going forward if they can keep this up. But I think it'll be highly unlikely that they don't. Um, the next thing I saw, despite the Warriors' bad game, the Wiseman had a very good showing. Even though I think about half of it was in garbage time, but his first points were off of a pretty kind of unorthodox athletic dunk. He did like a Superman dunk, kind of, and by that I mean he just kind of put it in two hands and just kind of had this weird jump and put it in. I was kind of excited to see that. I mean, it wasn't that thrilling of a dunk, but he has a weird jumping form, and he had a nice layup at one point there where he drove in, kind of like what Bam Adebayo does, how he can keep his dribble. If Wiseman can play like that, he will be a top big in the league. That's why everybody likes Bam so much, is because he can dribble the ball, and Wiseman looks like he can do much of the same. He had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals on 53% shooting, and he also went 1 for 1 from downtown. That shows he can stretch the floor. He also hit two pretty decent long range mid range jumpers. That's a double negative, but we'll pass on through that. Um, but Wiseman looks to be good. I said it in the podcast. If you haven't had a chance to go watch that, feel free to go watch that if you want. You don't have to. But I said I thought that Wiseman, in my early award predictions, was going to be the Rookie of the Year. I think just his consistency that he'll show will just be head will be heads above the rest of the competition. LaMelo Ball, as good as he is, as hyped up as he is, and I like LaMelo. I'm not saying that the hype isn't somewhat warranted. I just think the inconsistencies are going to kill his chances for the Rookie of the Year, because LaMelo's going to have really good nights and he's going to have kind of bad nights with the shooting. It just is what it is. He's still got a better shot than Lonzo's. Lonzo's shooting. Well, Lonzo, I don't know. Last performance he had pretty good mid ranges, but altogether LaMelo's got more of an offensive skill set than Lonzo has. With Lonzo's playmaking. So if Lonzo has a place in the league, LaMelo definitely has one too. And I suspect that Melo will work his way uh, towards getting that shot better, especially he's got Michael Jordan to kind of help him. Not that Michael Jordan's a shooting guy, but Michael Jordan's going to show him what he needs to do to become productive in the league. on a consistent basis. Back to that. All right. One thing I noticed, we'll go Lakers war. No, what was it? Lakers Clippers game. Lakers kind of struggled in one spot, and I knew it was going to be an issue. Marc Gasol is not Defensive Player of the Year. Marc Gasol. They should not have given him that contract. They should have stuck with McGee or Howard because Gasol has aged heavily. That was a bad move. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to consistently say it. If you want to say something in the comments, go ahead. I'd like to have some comments. If you had comments, I would talk about it. But Gasol is too damn old to get that big of a contract. They should have let him go back to Spain. Gasol's time in the league should have been done, but they decided to bring him because LeBron's there. Not I assume most people know my position on LeBron, but just because you bring somebody into the LeBron system doesn't mean that he's going to help him. Gasol is too damn old. He was supposed to be there to play make, and he had one assist. One. Gasol was, Trez is, you're going to want Trez off the bench, but you kind of screwed yourself because you let Dwight go to the 76ers and you let McGee go to Cleveland. I didn't even know that they let McGee go until I saw Cleveland's box score the other day. Why the hell did you do that? McGee should have been your starting center. Why did you do that? McGee would have been perfect. I don't get. Weed is legal in California. That's all I've got to say. Because Gasol is, I've said it again, he is too damn old to still be on a roster as a starting center. He is a backup at best. You have two backup centers because you want Trez off the bench. You don't have a starting center. You might have to run small ball. Because last night they came out kind of lethargic. They got the rings. Ooh, pretty ring. But you still got to play the game to show that you're not. When you win the ring, you want to prove that, yeah, we're the champions. And they didn't do that last night. They came out all lackluster, and they got it shoved down their throat by the man who everybody's been making fun of all summer, Paul George. Well, it wasn't summer, but the break. Paul George, he had 33 last night, and he took over in the third and fourth. It was good to see PG play well, but we'll see how long it keeps up because we saw this last year. We saw the 130-point performance, and then we didn't see a whole lot of it. But, it's the first game of the season, so he very well could keep this up. I expect him to get around 25 a game this season. I don't know if he's really an X factor yet. I've got to see a lot more because, again, it's one game. And I just don't know how much you can really count on PG at this point. I've lost a lot of faith in him, especially being a shooter and in a playoff game hitting the side of the backboard. I was watching that game. I was not happy because I had the Clippers going a lot farther last year, and they really disappointed me heavily. That Clippers team, with the way it was built, there's been teams built like that in the past that look really good on paper but just can't get it done. But, it was not, it was just bad. The Clippers should have played better last year. Even in the regular season, before the bubble, like the Bucks got all screwed up by the bubble, he just didn't ever really gel with anybody. I don't get it. But maybe this is fixed now. They had a pretty good game. Kennard had a few points. I was happy to see that as a Detroit. I've watched him in Detroit for a while. I don't really think that contract was fully warranted yet, but they paid him, so good for them. Actually, more good for him, not good for them. They needed to see how good he was before they gave him the contract. Now on to the Warriors. As a good majority of the people watching, because I know I don't have too many outsiders, anybody who watches knows me from high school and different areas and from just different things. I like the Warriors quite a bit. I'd say more than quite a bit. I root for the Warriors quite often. And the Warriors got put through the mud pile last night. They didn't show up. Well, they did show up, but they left their shooting back in Oracle, and that's not Oracle anymore. I don't even know. They left it in San Francisco. They did not bring their shooting with them last night, and they got torched for it. Was a bad game. Curry had a bad game. Oubre had a bad game. They're dogging on Wiggins. Poor Wiggins. He can't get it going anywhere. I don't think Wiggins is going to play like that for the whole season, just so everybody knows, but we'll see. Um, but one piece that the team is missing that is a key part of their rotation is Draymond Green. Anybody around here, I mean, if you don't like the Warriors, I know a few people who don't really care for the Warriors but like MSU, you know who the hell Draymond is. You know what Draymond does. Draymond is a defensive piece that brings the team together on defense. He also playmakes on offense. He moves the ball around, which is what Golden State's offense is. And he occasionally gets you a basket when they just leave him be, trying to overplay the other players. Now, you're not going to have as much of that overplaying this season because Clay's out, but you still can't leave Oubre or Wiggins open normally. I mean, last night was an anomaly. I mean, maybe Wiggins, but Oubre's got a pretty good shot. And Wiggins isn't that bad either, but they didn't show it last night. But Draymond is a huge piece of that team. Without Draymond, they wouldn't have won in 15. And who knows? I don't even think it would have been. I mean, they had Durant, and they would have still been able to win in 17, 18 most likely. But he still is a huge part of that team. Draymond, when he keeps his anger in check, that is one thing that I have issue with is his excessive just talking at the ref and getting technicals is a little bit much. But Draymond, when there and when focused, is a huge part of that team just as much as, unfortunately, Clay is, even though he's out right now. But a guy like Draymond, as much as I like Clay, it's easier to bring in guys to do points than it is to bring in guys that are just dogs on defense and will get at it. Draymond can guard pretty much any position, even the one. He can get at it. I mean, he's not as good at the one, but he still has the ability to. But I expect next game the Warriors to have a pretty good game. I don't expect it to be a blowout, but I think they will bounce back from this. And I expect the Lakers to do the same thing too. This has been a daily recap for 12/23/2020. I hope to do another one tomorrow. I can't promise anything, but I think I've got enough time tomorrow, even though it is Christmas Eve. And I will maybe... No, I can't do two in one day. I'll try to figure something out for Christmas Day. Maybe I will take Christmas Day off because it's Christmas morning. I'm not going to have a lot of time. So, thank you guys for watching. Please like and throw a comment down there. If you hated what I said today, talk about it. I'm not gonna destroy you in the comments. But it gives me something to talk about. So, throw a comment down there and subscribe. Thank you for watching.